Ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to get this thing started. NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. If you know any Lions fans, you should share this to them, because we're going to talk about it. Yeah, Vikings lose again, 27-20. To the Kansas City Chiefs. Lions win big. Lions win big. The Green Bay Packers are playing tonight against the Raiders. All right, it's Monday. Welcome one, welcome all. Look at that. Look there, we got some peeps in there. Good morning, Calvin. Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Jed. Good morning, Detroit Fan Man. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, NFC North Talk with your host, Russell Wayne. It is Victory Monday, and I'm going to put a shout out right now to John Kapler right now. He was the first one to comment on the YouTube. He was the first one in the backstage today doing this because he's excited, and I'm excited. And I'm also excited to bring on my co-host, the Emmy-nominated Main Event Mike. How are you doing, my brother?
You know how good I'm feeling, Russ? 4-1 good. That's how good I'm feeling.
Gosh, that's a feeling that we haven't had since 2011. And as I show everybody right here, we are broadcasting live into Bill the Packer fan, Mike the Bear fan, Detroit Line News, and the Villain Squad. Please go give us a like. Go give us a like right here. This right here is the YouTube. Use that QR code to jump right onto the YouTube channel right now. And then right here for Main Event Mike, the King of Sting, tonight, Monday, 7 p.m. Follow us on the Villain Squad. Use that QR code and get right there. We'll be throwing that thing up there. Thank you very much for watching the program today. And obviously, you want to get to this win first, right? Let's get to this win. Mike, how you feeling on that? Give me your first thoughts.
Let me tell you, Russ, it's Monday, right? It's roast day, okay? Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to let them have it. Lions 4-1 for 40 years, 50 years, 6 years, whatever it is, we've been having to take it. Now the tables have finally turned. We are in the driver's seat, sitting atop the division. People can say, oh, it's pathetic. Oh, you only beat the Carolina Panthers. That's going to be the Green Bay narrative today, right? You only beat, relax, bro. It was the Panthers. You know what? The Panthers have beaten the Lions since the Packers have. In fact, it's been 749 days since the Packers have beaten the Lions, and we're just going to love it. We're going to roll around in it. We're going to wallow in it. We're going to love it. We're going to beat our chest. You're damn right. You think it's bad now? You just wait. You just wait till week 16 for the first time we play the Vikings. We're going to be in so control of this division, and we're going to be intolerable.
Well, we might be intolerable already, but I think it's a bullshit narrative that people try to throw out there. Like, wow, you guys can beat your chest when you've done something. It's like, no, the journey is even more fun than the destination. On the way there, we're going to beat our chest. Every win that we get, we're going to beat our chest. We're going to beat our chest just like you have done for the last 30 years over and over again. You're the SOL. You're all these things. And now we just got to shut up because we're finally good. No, we get to open up our mouths now and justify it because guess what? It's no longer good on paper. We are not good on paper. We are good in reality. Your teams are good on paper, but not in reality. So that's where we're at right now. 42-24, and it wasn't even that close.
Wasn't even that close. Lions beat the Panthers 42-24. They get a touchdown in garbage time. Big takeaway for me is the Lions can hold another team under 100 yards, albeit 99 yards, but a lot of that came in draw plays and garbage time runs. This game was not even close ever.
Right. And there you go. Another awesome performance by one Jared Thomas Michael Goff at 20 for 28, 236 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and now he has more rushing touchdowns than Justin Fields.
Is that correct? Jared Thomas Michael Goff? Oh, we're going to call him. I'm going to start calling him JTMG.
JTMG. I'm not sure. I think Justin Fields, I don't know how many rushing touchdowns that Justin Fields has, but that might actually be a real stat. I may have jumped the gun on that one. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure if there is a Bear fan that's left that they might be out there and they would correct me.
How about this rating? How about this rating for Jared Goff, Druss? 132.4 quarterback rating. Insane. 20 of 28 for 236 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Just a classic Jared Goff performance. This is what we're seeing. Steady, not flashy, just putting some zip on the ball, standing tall in the pocket. This guy's doing it all. His confidence level is huge. Dan Campbell said in his post-game press conference at what a high level Jared Goff is playing at. But you know what? We expect more. We want more. We expect more from Jared Goff than that, and he's ready. He's up for the task.
Yeah, they're having fun. They're having fun out there. You can tell that the entire offense, especially like the offensive line and the way that they're constructing these plays. He was saying that they're able to open up the playbook because they can ask all of these players to do much more difficult tasks. All this trickery that they're doing, like snapping a ball in between Jared Goff's legs, right? Direct snap to David Montgomery. Like you said, flea flicker, another, just all these misdirection and all these trick plays and stuff. But you have to have the guys in order to execute those things. It's not like, oh, well, look at them just doing trick plays. It's like you have to have good guys to sell it, for one, that you're doing trickery and all that. And it's a fun offense. It's a fun time to be a Detroit Lion fan.
Boy, I'm glad you brought that up. The play calling from Ben Johnson was masterful. Like you said, misdirection. The whole offense is going right. They throw left. Then on the next play, they do it exactly the opposite. Everyone's going left. They throw right. The flea flicker came on a reverse. I mean, what a great play call. And you mentioned the direct snap to David Montgomery. That was on a 3rd and 6. Carolina's thinking pass all the way on this drive. They snap it. Was it between the legs? Did it go between the legs of Jared Goff? I thought he was lined up under the guard and they direct snapped it, but no, I went and looked at the replay. They actually right through the legs. What a gutsy call on 3rd and 6. Catch him off guard. David Montgomery, man, you just can't say enough. I don't think there's any question. This guy's
legal.
Yeah, it is, and I don't think there's any question anymore about whether this is an upgrade over Jamal Williams.
Oh, it's crazy. And actually, when you're talking about, it's like what the Lions do as an offensive line, it's pretty amazing, to be honest with you, because when you're looking at these player stats, it isn't just, David Montgomery. David Montgomery averaged 5.7 yards a carry, 19 carries, 109 yards. And then Craig Reynolds comes in relief, averages 7.4 yards a carry, 7 rushes for 52 yards. They're closing teams out. They're stepping on their throat. They're not even giving them a chance because this run game is lethal.
That last touchdown by the Lions, I will forever call that the Craig Reynolds drive, because not only did he get the touchdown from 7 yards out or whatever, was that his first career NFL touchdown for Craig? Congratulations to Craig Reynolds.
Craig.
Yeah, congratulations to Craig Reynolds and his good friend, his dad, our good friend, Mr. Eric Reynolds. Congratulations to the Reynolds family for getting that first touchdown. What a great career he's had so far. It's so hard to make it in the NFL. He ran so hard. That whole drive was Craig. They kept handing it to Craig, and he just kept moving the chains until it got close, and he punched it in. Love to see that when you've got a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs sitting on the bench and not able to play. We also lost Bam Knight to an injury. So to see Craig come in and carry the load, that was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and there's another guy, I can't stop gushing right here, but another feather in Jared Goff's cap right here is the fact that he threw multiple catches to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 receivers caught 2 or more balls from Jared Goff. So if you guys are out there and you're thinking that Goff needs all of these weapons, Goff is making weapons out of people. You just be in the right spot and I'll get you the ball. Listen to these. Josh Reynolds, 4 catches for 76 yards. Sam Laporta, 3 catches for 47 yards, 2 touchdowns. Khalif Raymond, 3 catches for 45 yards. Marvin Jones, 2 catches for 22 yards. David Montgomery, 2 catches for 20 yards. Brock Wright, 3 catches for 16 yards. Jamison Williams, 2 catches for 2 yards. I mean, if you want to make fun of Jamison Williams, I mean, that's fine when it comes to, I saw a comment in here. It was John is like,
Really?
well, he just said Jamison Williams needs to catch the damn ball. He did have a drop, but he did have 2 catches, and he was a demon in the block game. That's what I was going to say to that.
Blocking for the run game. Yeah. Jamison Williams stood out. Dan Campbell even mentioned it. I have no problems with Jamison Williams' performance yesterday. The 2-yard catch that he did have, somebody just got a clip on his ankle, or he'd have got a few more yards, probably even got the first down. That was on a 3rd down play.
Correct. And then the drop that he had, I don't know if you saw it. And now, you got to catch the ball when it's coming right in there. But there was a defensive player that was running full speed the opposite way that he was running. And if he did catch that ball, he might have gotten annihilated. So catch the ball, Jamison. I get that. And I'm going to give you that, John Kapler, because I wanted to see that happen.
Right. But I have no problems with that, with the long layoff that JMO had. They worked him in 28 snaps for Jamison Williams. That'll get your sea legs back under you. We do expect great things. The guy's electric. Just every time he come in into the game, you could see the little frantic thing with the Carolina defense. They would, wait, they're accounting for him. That's an impact alone.
Right. And I wanted to lay out all of them stats from before where all of those other receivers, it's like the Lions are deep in the skill position spot. You can trust Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond and Sam Laporta and these guys. It's like Jamison Williams, you may want to see more out of him. You may want to see more out of Jahmyr Gibbs, but doesn't it make you feel okay that they don't need those guys to step in and make these huge impacts? These guys can get weaned in, just spoon-fed like, here, little baby, I'm going to treat you like a little baby. And then they get to bring them up within the system. They'll get it.
Really impressed with Josh Reynolds yesterday. 2 games in a row now. He's making catches that it didn't matter who we're playing. It doesn't matter who's covering him. Those were just outstanding catches. And even Marvin Jones yesterday, 2 for 2. 2 targets, 2 catches, getting off the schneid where we were giving him kind of a hard time. He even showed up. Khalif Raymond, man, this guy's they know exactly what they have in Khalif Raymond. He's the kind of guy every team needs someone like Khalif on their team. But I just can't stop gushing about Sam Laporta. This guy, 2 touchdowns. But let's take a real close look at how he's making these catches. These are athletic plays. He looks like a veteran. He looks like George Kittle out there. Okay. Luke Musgrave, Michael Mayer, we passed on them because we knew this guy was the better pass catcher. And he's making some great blocks on the touchdown run. He made a great seal block. That's 2 weeks in a row now. He's made a great seal block for a touchdown run. So love the kid. We might have the absolute steal of the draft in Laporta and Branch, maybe 2 of the top steals in the draft.
And this is where I'm going to say this to Sarah. This is so crazy that you bring this up right here. So drafting Gibbs at 12 is a mistake. We don't know. That's the thing, is we don't know and we don't care at this point. Like right now, our team, like if you want to look at a mistake or look at all of the hits. Holy crap, Sarah, you're not watching the Detroit Lions if you're not looking at this team and being frightened of them, especially the Minnesota Vikings. Wow. Like you guys had a shot in yesterday's game. And I mean, you guys got enough problems to worry about. Gibbs, Sarah, come on.
He was injured
yesterday.
Too.
I mean,
let me answer that question too, Sarah. No, it was not a mistake, and here's why. It's been very well publicized that the New England Patriots would have taken Jahmyr Gibbs at 14. We would then not have had him. We were the only team in the NFL in the draft to take 5 players in the top 50. Had we not drafted Gibbs, we would not have achieved that. So no, it was perfect. It laid out exactly the way it should have. He was a luxury. The guys we wanted, the guys we really wanted, weren't at the front of the draft anyway. Okay.
Right.
There's only a handful of players really, what they say, 16 to 18 players that really truly have a first round grade. So anything after that is basically a second round pick. So
Right.
no, the Lions targeted a guy that was in their top 9 and they got him at 12, regardless of any kind of narrative, any way you want to spin it.
Yeah, and we don't know what that is yet. Gibbs was injured yesterday. That is not. I mean, Demo is getting stats. That's fine, but it's not because Gibbs sucks. Gibbs hasn't been bad. Gibbs has been fine. But they don't have to give him the ball like you guys would if you guys drafted a rookie in the first round, and you have to give him all the touches because you don't have anybody else.
Yeah, Chance says Demo is 10 times better than Jamal Williams. Not
Already
about
proven.
10 times, because we loved Jamal. Jamal is great, but definitely an upgrade. And I love that Brian Branch jersey in your profile pic.
Yeah. Yeah. And 10 times better. I know that he's just, yeah, but he is obviously better. There's a noticeable difference between the way that Jamal Williams ran and the way that David Montgomery ran. This guy is violent runner. I mean, he is really tough to bring down a 220-pound dude that gets shifty in the holes, and you got an offensive line that's giving you 4 yards before you even get contacted. Yeah, Demo's just like, man, I'm gonna eat here.
How great it must be for David Montgomery after being Chicago Bear hell for those years, and then he busts a 42-yard run off the left tackle for a touchdown yesterday. You could just see how exuberant he was. He must be feeling it almost as good as Taylor Decker.
I mean, you cannot say enough about this. A win like this, just because I know it's a defeated Carolina. They were 0-4, but those are usually pretty scrappy teams when it comes to not wanting to lose the game. And we were down Amon-Ra St. Brown. We were down Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's like they didn't miss a beat. It's like that should scare the rest of the NFC North. We don't even need all of our best players. We've been injured for 3 games and we're 4-1, just like everybody else gets injured. You guys use it as excuses, and we just win games anyway. That should scare you.
I have to say too, I'm semi-impressed with Bryce Young. He throws one of the prettiest balls I've seen. He's scrappy. He was just overwhelmed yesterday. The Lions, Dan Campbell called it out that Aaron Glenn called the defense on that. There was something they worked on in practice. They baited Bryce Young into one of those interceptions, the one that Jerry Jacobs had. And then, of course, the other one, that's just Aiden Hutchinson being a freak of nature with the instincts, the reaction time. You can't put that one on Bryce Young so much. But I totally was impressed with him. Those balls had zips. Adam Thielen, 11 catches, 107 yards in a tutty. At this point, and I don't care whose feathers it ruffles, I would rather have Bryce Young than Jordan Love. I would rather have Bryce Young than Justin Fields.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, one of his only problems that he really has is that he can't see over the line. And I know that I make fun of him for being 5'1". He's not 5'1". He's actually 5'10". And but he's so small out there, man. And I almost felt bad for him out there, and I shouldn't, because you're an NFL quarterback. You're going to take a pounding. And by the way, your little frame is going to take a pounding for the rest of your career if you want to be good, because you have to be able to throw the ball while somebody's bearing down on you and driving you to the turf over and over and over again. You need to be prepared for that. And I don't know if his body is going to be able to handle, too many Detroit Lions games or the San Francisco 49er games where these guys are just going to come at him and they're not going to try to hurt him, but that's the way they tackle.
Yeah. There's a great clip of Aiden Hutchinson giving him, a pat on the back or whatever after the game, standing next to him. Aiden Hutchinson's like a whole foot taller than that guy. Could you imagine being 5'9.5" and 6'8" Aiden Hutchinson come barreling down on you every play? Man, I got to give the kid credit. He is small. but he does have the upside. He's got the beautiful pass. He's accurate. Bryce Young, 25 of 41. It's respectable. It's about the league average. Only QBR of 82.1, 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right, Todd chimes in right here and says, would you make a trade for a corner or another edge rusher? Do you want that, or do you want me to hit it first?
I'd say you're half right. I would make a trade for a corner. The crushing news now this morning from Ian Rappaport that Emmanuel Mosley tore his ACL yesterday, out for the season. And we lose CJGJ to a torn pec. That really puts a damper on my expectations for this Detroit Lions team to make it to an NFC Championship game or even a Super Bowl. Without those 2 pieces to bolster the secondary, those were 2 pieces we were banking on to be big contributors in the postseason to get us over the hump, to get us to the next level. And now losing him and CJGJ for the year really hurts. So yes, I would not be against trading, even if that meant as much as a 3rd-round draft pick, to get some secondary help, a veteran that's got a nasty attitude. That's what we need. We need one more veteran back there in the back 7 for a nasty attitude to make us in the same conversation with Philadelphia and San Francisco. But edge rusher, no, we're good. We got an overload of those. James Houston might even be back this year before week 12. So, yeah, no, I think we're good on edge. We're good on edge.
And I would even say that we're good at corner too. Emmanuel Mosley played 2 snaps this year, and we were fine before he even took a snap. So I don't know where this all of a sudden in your mind is a crushing blow when he hasn't done anything yet this year. It sucks. It sucks that he's out there, but Will Harris and Jerry Jacobs are having the games of their life, and they look like starting level corners, and it doesn't look like it's a replacement level player. They went after Will Harris yesterday. They knew that he was the weakest, supposedly the weakest secondary guy. They went after him and after and after. He showed up and showed up and showed up. And then Jerry Jacobs has had 3 of the best weeks of his career. I think these guys are young, ascending players. And I'm not saying that injuries don't hurt, but they don't hurt any more than anything else. I think they absolutely have a chance to get into the playoffs this year and make noise, get to the NFC Championship, and maybe even more.
True. What I'm saying is it just crushed some of my dampened, I should say, not crushed, dampened my expectations a bit, because I was really, really looking forward to seeing those players out there on the back end. And hey, you're right. Will Harris, Jerry Jacobs, that's the floor. And we've seen teams week after week try to pick on them. Jerry Jacobs responds with 3 interceptions in the last 2 games. Will Harris had some big tackles, recovered a fumble yesterday. So these guys are responding to the challenge. You know, that's got to make the coaches happy. But definitely, I think we're suspect on the back end to be able to compete with some of these elite teams for a Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and you know what? And I did hear the rumors. I saw a couple of the rumors, because teams like the Denver Broncos may be going into sell mode. Teams like like the Minnesota Vikings might actually be going into sell mode, because you're starting 1-4, 0 and whatever. Patrick Surtain might end up being. I saw something out there that the Lions, would you trade for Patrick Surtain? Yes. Yes, if you can make a move, and that's something that I could see them taking a higher draft pick to go after to get, because if you're going to fill the need, you might as well fill it like a mofo, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Aren't we glad the Lions didn't get into sell mode when they were 1-6 last year? I think it's a little premature, but I think the Denver Broncos, as you alluded to, are already in sell mode. We saw yesterday they sent Randy Gregory to the Niners. Great. That's what the Niners need. Another Pro Bowl defensive player. Great. Yeah. So, and they basically gave him away. So, I think Denver's already in sell mode. If Patrick Surtain is attainable, I think something like that, something Brad Holmes should definitely think about.
Don't walk, run to the phone and make that phone call. If that's, because the thing is like, you can't have enough secondary people, and guys like Patrick Surtain don't just like fall out of trees. You're just not able to just pluck them out of drafts all the time. You get you're fortunate enough to get a guy like that. And if you can just attain a dude like that on a team that's tanking, and
And thing about Surtain is he is a true corner. You look at a guy like Buda Baker, who's a safety. There was some speculation he might be let go. I don't. I think we're good at safety, right? Tracy Walker, Kirby Joseph. We got Will Harris and Ife Melifonwu as backups. And then we're looking at C.J. Gardner-Johnson coming back possibly before the end of the year. So I think we're good on safety. That kind of move I wouldn't be into, but a top flight corner would be amazing for this team.
Yeah, and I think that's where they're going to be at next, because this next draft, and we're not, as Lions fans, I don't even know why we're talking about this right now, but in next year's draft, I mean, it's not going to be a lot of needs. I mean, it's going to be, can this guy get drafted and make the team when it comes to a lot of these, because we're not going to lose a ton of people next year, guys. Like a lot of these guys are there. Emmanuel Mosley, as tragic as it is, that was a 1-year deal. CJ Gardner-Johnson, that was a 1-year deal. That's not a loss as a future of what the Lions are doing right now. So yeah, the future is looking pretty bright too when it comes to that. But to answer your question, I hope that answers your question. No edge rushers. I don't think that we need an edge rusher. I'm with you on that, Mike. And go ahead and get a corner if you can go get one. John Kapler says that, okay, Lions trading up and getting a top corner. Okay, I'm gonna squash draft talk now. Okay, guys, let's save that for the Minnesota segment that we're gonna do when we talk about their loss. Do you want to move on to that, or do you want to keep?
Let's move on to that. I mean, it was forever ago that the Bears won on Thursday night. We talked about it. We talked about it ad nauseum on Friday.
Yeah, because Ken W was on here, so he answered one question.
That was the nauseum part. So the Bears beat the Commanders on Thursday. The Packers, of course, play tonight. Lions with a dominating victory yesterday. That only leaves the Minnesota Vikings in this division, and they fell to the Kansas City Chiefs. Vikings at home fall to the Chiefs 27-20. They played a good game. They made it tough, but there are no moral victories in the NFL. Kirk Cousins 29 of 47, 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a passer rating of 92.9. Typical Kirk Cousins, efficient, trying everything he can. The real story here is the Minnesota rushing attack could only get 70 yards, only averaging 3.3 yards a carry for Alexander Madison. That's not going to get it done. Justin Jefferson injured. We haven't got an update on that injury yet. That could be crushing for this Minnesota team. If Justin Jefferson is out any extended period of time, that could push Minnesota into sell mode a lot easier. TJ Hawkinson, 5 catches, 51 yards. That's a solid outing. But you know, the average for Kirk Cousins was only 6 yards a throw. Means he's dumping it off a lot of short throws. Kansas City wasn't giving them anything deep. So they took what the defense gave them, and it just wasn't enough. Harrison Smith with another big game, 10 tackles at 34 years old. He continues to impress, in my opinion, at making the tackles. So, yeah. Minnesota Vikings 1-4 now.
They're 1-4, and they've lost a bunch of close games. You know, isn't it kind of ironic when you think of this team from last year, this Minnesota Vikings team, and they were crushing all of these close games. They were coming down to the wire, and Kirk Cousins was Captain Kirk. He was going down the field and just making miracles happen. But you know what? The parity of the NFL dictates this, right? And we knew that these couldn't possibly, you can't possibly just win every single close game that you get into. Now, we didn't think that it was going to completely flip to the 180, but no, they've lost a lot of these close games that are coming down to the wire. And now they're 1-4, and they could easily be 4-1. I mean, here's you look at their whole body of work, and they've been in every one of these games, and they could easily be 4-1, just as easy as they are 1-4. Don't you think?
Absolutely. Last
I
year,
mean,
Minnesota Vikings 11-0 in one-score games. This year, they're 0-4. And it's what we talked about in the offseason. We called it out, Russ, on this very program. We called it out that was not sustainable. Winning 11-0 in one-score games is not a sustainable statistic. There's going to be a drop-off. There's going to be a fall-off. We just didn't know it would be this dramatic. Losing the first 4 games of the season of one-score games, they are 0-4 now. And it really adds credence to that narrative last year that they were frauds at 13 wins, which I never bought into. But I think the truth is fleshing it out this year.
well, I think when it comes to the frauds thing, I don't think that the team itself is a fraud, but when you're winning 13 games, you're looking at a dominant team. Usually you're looking at a team that's been like, crushing it on defense and able to close games out. You're not looking at, 11 games that are like really, really close where you might even play it a little bit sloppy in half of the game or have to come back by 30 points or something like that by getting down. You're not putting complete games together, but yet you're still winning. That's what they meant by fraudulent. And now, like, some of these mistakes, they come to the surface a lot faster because, when they get into this game, I mean, they fumble the ball on the first play of the game, and Kansas City's not the team you do that against, right? You can't make a ton of mistakes against a team like Kansas City and expect to win. And I know that a lot of people might be blaming officials or blaming Kirk Cousins or whatever, but when it comes down to it, that's what most of these games are going to be like, guys. They're going to come down to the wire, and it's going to go back to those few mistakes. When you turn the ball over, you're really just setting up your opponent to win. So I would blame anything other than just, I even thought the defense did pretty good against Patrick Mahomes and company. They got this, Brian Flores got this blitzing scheme where he's sending everybody all the time. He's sending 5-6 guys, and you never know, and they're just loading up. But that itself isn't sustainable.
Right.
And if you guys lost Justin Jefferson, you guys might as well. Get Kirk Cousins on the trade block and get something for this quarterback before he walks out the door and you get nothing. You just. Right.
I think the real story in this game too is the Minnesota defense giving up big plays. Kansas City had 6 plays of 15 yards or more. It's going to be awfully hard to beat good teams if you're giving up big chunk plays like that.
Sarah says, but if you want to go deep and contend with the Cowgirls and the 49ers, Gibbs isn't going to help with that. How do you know?
I disagree. A great pass catching back out of the backfield. How's that not going to help? Especially if you're talking about them locking us up downfield, the short range weapons are absolutely what you need to beat teams like that.
Where are you getting to we talked on this program, Sarah. We're on here together. You didn't bring this up last week and Gibbs was injured yesterday. You do know that, right? The reason he didn't show up on a stat line is because he didn't play, right? Because they're trying to make him fresh. You guys think this is such a bad deal for Lions fans that are out there saying that you need to use Gibbs more, okay? Even if he did play, he wouldn't have played as much. You know why this is smart? Because this is a 17-game season, guys. A lot of reasons why teams use 2-3 running back systems is because when they get to the playoffs with these super dudes that they pay all this money to, they get injured. And then you get into the playoffs with the thing that got you into the playoffs, and then you don't have the thing that got you into the playoffs.
Playoffs?
So, would you rather have David Montgomery do what David Montgomery's been doing his whole career, which is toting the rock like a 3-down back for 10, 12 weeks, and then bring in a fresh Gibbs who now, by the way, knows the offense because he's been practicing with us for 11 weeks, and then you unleash him to a target share. Unleash him, because right now he's not getting a lot of targets. He's not getting a lot of runs. He's still averaging 4 yards a carry. He's still electric every time he touches the ball. Defenses have to do something when he's out there to account for his speed. So, if you want to go deep in the playoffs, yes, you do need to have playmaking running backs and playmaking wide receivers, and Gibbs is one of those players.
Yeah, and don't let the 24 points that Carolina put up on us fool you. This defense was smothering. They were stifling in the first half. And it's not going to matter, Sarah, if it's San Francisco or Dallas. If our defense plays like it has the last 3 weeks, we will beat those teams, Gibbs or not.
Or at least be there. Like Dan Campbell made a comment in the press conference where he seems pretty confident that we can stand up to any team in the NFL and look them straight in the eye. Now, when you get in these knockdown, drag-out fights, no, San Francisco is one of those teams that you can never count as a W. You can beat this team. They're not unbeatable, but if you do beat them, you're going to leave with a limp. You're going to leave with a couple black eyes, maybe some chipped teeth.
A kneecap bitten off.
And a kneecap bitten off, and that's the way the Lions are too. Yeah, they may face us, but you're going to leave. You walk over, but you limp back, okay? You walk over, but you limp back. And that's the same thing with your team too, Sarah. We're coming into the Minnesota Vikings week 16 and 18. You walk over, you limp back. You may even get a victory. Your team's better than I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to lie there. Team's better than I thought it was going to be. You're not. I don't think that you're the worst team in the division. Actually, I don't even know between the bottom three now. Actually, well, I think the one with the best record is probably the worst out of the teams that I'm.
Well, I'm going to say
now.
it right now just to piss off the Packer fan. I think the Raiders win tonight. Jimmy G is starting under center. This line started at the beginning of the week. Packers favored by 1. Now the Las Vegas Raiders are a 2-point favorite. So that's a 3-point swing. Las Vegas agrees with me that now that Jimmy G has confirmed that he's going to start, Josh Jacobs finally gets off the schneid, gets into the end zone. He's starting to pick up steam. This Raider team could be trouble for the Packers. The Raiders are at home. I like the Raiders to win tonight.
I know, because isn't that your backup team?
That's
the Raiders are your,
the
Raiders are your. It's the Raiders playing the Pack tonight. Yeah, this is a big game for the Packers, and they wouldn't admit it because a lot of them are trying to just kind of move out of the stink that they just got into. But this is a good get right game for them. I don't think that the Packers are out of anything yet. You got the Christian Watson, Dobbs. They got these young playmakers with Jordan Love, and our team's pretty good. We're finding out that the Lions are pretty good, and maybe they just ran into a buzzsaw in the Lions, and Jordan Love hasn't been that bad. It's like I would like to see him complete a higher percentage of his passes, but he's getting it into the hands of his playmakers, and his playmakers are doing a good job. Jaden Reed seems like he's a good player. Dobbs has proven, I think, that he's a legit NFL wide receiver. Christian Watson, he's got the speed, and the defenses can be pretty good too. Our offense is going to make a lot of defenses look stupid this year because we're pretty good up front. So
I'm looking for the Packers to try to establish the run tonight with Aaron Jones. Last couple of weeks, he's been bottled up real bad. This Raiders team is bad against the run. So if they can get a run game cooking and open up that play action for Jordan Love, Packers have a real good chance of winning this game. I just don't think it's going to happen on the road with Jimmy G coming back, Devontae Adams in the revenge game. But like I said, the Packers, I think they're going to try to establish the run. And if they can do that, that will definitely give them a leg up to win this game.
Wow, man. Okay, we can agree. We can disagree on that. Like, I think the Packers are going to come in with a statement, and that defense is too good to get punked out twice, especially by Jimmy G. The Packers getting hit by Jimmy G again. Jimmy G strikes again. No, they can't have that. There's no way. I bet Packers win this game by double digits and get right, go into 3-2 and still be snipping out our butt.
Wow, I never thought about that. How Jimmy G has owned the pack in the past.
Yeah.
I that never crossed my mind. Could I get a
I
Kirk
mean,
Cousins for that one? Give me a Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
Yeah,
well,
I
I mean,
like that.
not only has Jimmy G owned them, Jimmy G won a game against them throwing only 6 passes.
To go to the Super Bowl.
And then there's poor Aaron Rodgers sitting out there going, come on, man. Like, I know I'm a better quarterback than Jimmy G. Can you guys make you God. But that was his own fault in that game. So
Right.
we won't go there. But I
Jimmy
don't
G
know.
completed 6 passes. Aaron Rodgers is 36 of 42. And you lose.
But I tell you what, I mean, me predicting a double-digit Packers win right here. But Robert, I hope that you're watching right now, because I mean, if they don't, because I'm telling you, because I don't care. I hope you lose. I mean, because we hate the Packers, but if you do lose, I am never going to endorse you again for the rest of the season.
That's how big
you
it
a
is.
Russell Wayne endorsement. Oh, it's ugly. You can't beat the Raiders. If you can't beat the dumpster fire Raiders, I mean, they're trying to sell their team. Like they have no identity. Oh gosh, this would be a bad loss for you. This would be a bad loss because you're a bad team. If you're a bad team, you get beat by bad teams, right? That means it's 2 bad teams playing each other, and one of the bad teams had to win. The Raiders are bad. You want to prove that you're at least, an above average team, Packers, you got to beat the Raiders. Don't you?
Monday Night Football on the road. It's a tough ask. I mean, the Raiders are bad. They have a terrible coach, but a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. So I think they definitely have a puncher's chance in this one.
John Dorn coming in saying Barry should get fired if the Packers can't stop the run. Josh Jacobs is pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good running back they have in the Raiders. It's the organization that sucks. Okay, good for you, Sarah. I'm not even going to cry about the refs in that Chiefs game. Sometimes you get calls, sometimes you don't. Good for you.
You like that?
Yeah, but I heard it was bad. I didn't watch the game, but I did hear that the referee, the officiating was bad.
I threw up one of that same meme that comes in with the Goodfellas that said, "This is a Lions fan." Whenever you tell us that you're complaining about the referees,
Right?
Shut up. You can't. I mean, you better go cry to somebody else on that one. I mean, we've had games literally taken like obvious, like, I mean, and if that happened to you, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Our
sorry.
bad calls get the rules changed the next year. Every time. So, yeah.
Okay. If Jimmy G, here's A-Dub. What's up, A-Dub? Says if Jimmy G was more than just a product of Kyle Shanahan's system as a game manager play caller, I would be worried about them. A-Dub not worried about him.
Well, when he was in Bill Belichick's systems and Tom Brady went down with an injury, Jimmy Garoppolo won 8 out of 9 games. So I don't know about that, A-Dub. Jimmy G is a quality quarterback in this league. He's more than just a game manager. He's an absolute winner. He has an overall winning percentage of over 70%, which in this league is very hard to do. So really tough for me to get on board with that take.
Wow. John Dorn, you have the worst takes on planet Earth. I do not cry about the refs. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? Right? Like, we did an entire segment about like the refs on making sure that we did it on a game that we won, because I refuse to blame referees for losses. I mean, we even got caught for a hold on the last play of the game where it wasn't called. I didn't complain about that. I even made a segment that said that even if they got that call, it wouldn't have guaranteed them a win. Even if they would have gotten that obvious call and they moved them back, they still would have had to go down and score. Gosh, John, why you got to tell lies about me? I don't complain about the referees. Are you going to call me out too, Mike?
I didn't say anything.
You're over there making faces.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, you're making faces. What is that face for? What is that face for?
Look, this is a Russell Wayne quote. Are you ready for this quote? I'm not saying the refs are an excuse, but they are a reason that we lost. That is a direct last year. That's a direct quote from you. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it's the reason.
No, I didn't say that about the refs. You better go check that again.
Man, rule number one in music, never piss off the sound guy. Rule number one in podcasting, never piss off the producer. So I'm just going to leave this one alone. Thanks, John Dorn, for stirring the pot as usual.
I can't believe you. I can't believe you sided with John Dorn on my show. John, I mean, this is it. I mean, we're going to start calling you a Raiders fan. Man, you wish that you were a Lions fan. Gosh, Raiders fan over here is calling me out. And you better go check the tape, Mike, because I said that about injuries, okay? You better go back and check that tape because it was after we got injured. I said it's not a reason, it's not an excuse, but it is one of the reasons that we had lost those 1-6 last year. Go back and check the tape, Mike. And John Dorn is referring to me talking about that hold call at the end of the Seattle game. And evidently I'm not allowed to even talk about like a play that happened without being called. It's not complaining. I have to talk about it. Right? Just like I have to talk about the fact that they missed calls in the Minnesota game yesterday. We can't use these as excuses.
No, but that hold against Aiden Hutchinson in Seattle game was terrible. And that was a game-winning play, too.
And maybe I did complain about the refs like Mike had said that I did last year. And I'll have to go back and check the tape, too. But the biggest crybaby ever?
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with
that. Are you kidding? I mean, I mean, mentioning the refs. Yes, I do mention the refs. I cried all last week.
John, you better be on the show tonight. NFC North open mic night at 7 p.m. Eastern time where we are talking trash. We usually run John Dorn through the mud, but he always gets his own shots in. All four fan bases are in there talking
especially when my co-host helps.
That's tonight. I didn't say a word. You pulled it out of me. All I did was make a face. 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Yeah.
How am I supposed to work with that face? I see. Now, let me call John out on this one. You cried all last week. I did. Yeah, we cried all about the refs last week after beating the shit out of your team.
Right. No, I was praising the refs for Quay Walker.
Oh, Jimmy, kneecaps. Yes. What's up, Jeremy B? Dropped in to say the Lions are now considered in the top 3 in the NFC. 4-1. Suck it, Pack-Tards.
Good call out, Jeremy. Great to hear from you.
Oh, God.
I watched your show the other day on YouTube. I watched the whole show. I thought you did a great job.
Yes, Jeremy B. South Florida Tribune. You need to check out that writing. That writing's pretty good. John, I know you like ruffling our feathers. I like getting the blood pressure up. We're feeling good as Lions fans after a win. And I'm actually picking your team to win by double digits. Are they going to let me down, John Dorn? Don't have them let me down. Actually, they can go ahead and let me down. Go ahead. Never forget I said that. Let me down. Barrett on Mike. Vikings versus Bears. Who do you got? 2 weeks straight. Bears have an offense, and the defense will be getting players back from injury. I'm not willing to talk about that yet, but I like that comment, and I want you to take that into a little box, put it up on the shelf, and we're gonna nail that tomorrow when we hit the PFF grades for the whole week, and then we'll get into some of the predictions for that. You guys had a nice limelight in the sun here on the main event, NFC North Talk, because you guys did get your first dub. Congratulations to the Chicago Bears for getting their first win, and Justin Fields looked impressive. DJ Moore looked even more impressive.
Hell, Friday's show was basically all Chicago Bears. We praised them and everything. And Mike, the Bear Down Mike brings up a good thing, something that I hadn't thought of yet. Next week's matchup might be the most intriguing matchup of 2 1-4 teams I've ever seen. So that is going to be an interesting one. I think that's going to be a close game. I haven't even wrapped my head around trying to pick who would win, but at first glance, I see that being a real close game.
Detroit fan man, seems like Russ is sensitive about ref blaming's advice for Monday nights. I'm not sensitive about ref blaming. I'm sensitive about people lying about me. And it's like, yeah, it comes down to, I do bring it up. If there's a bunch of talk about one of the teams where they have refs blamed, it is our job to bring it up, isn't it, Mike? I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, we have to bring it up. So I guess if that comes off as ref blaming, I apologize for that. I do like having fun with the guys that I work with, and
one thing fun. I can tell you is calling Russ out for something, he will make a concerted effort to change it. So I've noticed that Russ, if he gets called out for being a ref blamer, for moving forward, you will not see Russ away and be blaming the refs anymore for anything or even alluding to it, because that's how he handles it.
And you know what? And it comes that, and that is, I want to learn like that too, because even if it comes off as I'm blaming the refs, I know that in my heart, I'm not trying to do that. So maybe I need to frame what I'm saying a little bit better. So if I do that, then that's doo-doo.
You just said doo-doo. Detroit fan man, what did he mean by that advice for Monday? What does he mean by advice for Monday? Does that mean Detroit fan man might come in and try to smack talk? I don't know. He's a Detroit fan, so we're on the same team, Detroit fan man.
Yeah, and I'm more of a producer on that. Mike, that's more of Mike's bag. Mike likes to argue with people more than I do, and that's his thing. Hey, probably not, but Mike's the king of Sting.
Well, it's getting kind of ghosty in there, Russ, because I've run them all off. Right. I've run Bill the Packer fan off. I've run Mike the Bear fan off. They were humbled and they don't ever come back now after I stung them right out of the room, and I don't even see them anymore. I've had some fresh blood in there that I've been tearing to shreds with some Packer fans. Like Robert is the only Packer fan that can hang. Jamez is the only Viking fan that's been able to hang. I haven't found a Bear fan yet to hang. Ken might hang, but every time he talks, I put it on mute, so I don't even know what he's saying.
Sarah did come in and have a conversation with me, and we talked a little bit about these Vikings. So I'll give Sarah some props too. And John Dorn, he's always good for a laugh or two and riling my feathers up a little bit. Rosh Nish, there you go. No, the Lions are not better than the Cowboys.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I don't know where you're basing that on. I mean, are you basing it on the fact that they just got smashed yesterday and the Lions haven't been smashed by anybody? Like the Lions have actually won, what is this, 3 straight double-digit games? It really looks like that we're a nightmare matchup for just about anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm. And we do play the Cowboys in Dallas this year, so we'll see. Dak Prescott is still an interception machine. He threw 3 of them yesterday on 3 consecutive drives.
Mm-hmm.
I like our chances this year. By the way, last year when they did beat us, we were winning at halftime. So if they are better than us, it's not by much.
Yeah, that Dak Prescott is just not good. I think that he's the biggest fool's gold that's out there. I mean, every year they talk about him like he's a top 5 quarterback. I mean, outside the 5,000 year that he had, he's really not really been that good.
Overrated, overpaid for sure.
Cowboys got exposed last night. That's what Keith said.
5th round draft pick. Get the hell out of here. I got to jump off, Russ. I got a conference call here in a couple of minutes. Appreciate you having me on the show. Don't forget tonight, NFC North open mic, 7 p.m. Eastern time. God bless you all. Go Raiders.
There it is. Yeah, he says go Raiders. That's main event Mike right there. He's the host. He's the fearless host of that show tonight. I'm going to throw the link out there. I'll have a conversation. I'm not done yet. I'm feeling good. And, it's Monday. I got a few minutes. I can spend with you. I'll throw the link out into the comments right there if you want to have a conversation with me. I can talk about these Minnesota Vikings. That's a crushing loss, man. I was in that game, watching that game. I actually thought that the Vikings had a shot to win the game. I think you kind of shot yourself in the foot, and then losing Jefferson. That's got to be a pretty big thing, and that's got to have you concerned. And there's Sarah right there. What's up,
Yep.
Sarah?
Oh, I was just saying, like, I am so ready to, like, I don't want us to win any more games. I'm just done for the season. We need to rebuild because in 2017, the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. And then in 2020, they rebuilt and went to the Super Bowl again. We haven't done that rebuild, and we haven't even sniffed a conference championship game since. And so It's time to rebuild. And the longer we put it off, we're just wasting away JJ and Jordan Addison, their talent, if we just keep pushing it off. Regardless of how you feel about Kirk, he is 35 years old. He's not getting any younger. And, with a quarterback class coming in this deep, it would be insane of us not to take a quarterback.
Yeah, get one in there. As I'm going to welcome Jeremy B to the program as well. What's up, Jeremy B?
How about that win?
Yeah. We were just talking about this Vikings thing right here, where Sarah's on the fence right here. Before the season, we were thinking that we could do well, but we lost a couple games right here as far as the Vikings go, and maybe in a sell mode. Are you in a sell mode, Sarah?
Hell yeah! If I was a GM, everybody would be gone except for our two tackles, JJ and Jordan Addison.
So you would extend JJ right now, and maybe even consider this Kirk Cousins trade, because I think you could get a little something for him.
I wouldn't consider it. I would do
it. Get on the horn. She says, Quessy, are you listening right now?
Well, because we need JJ for our future rookie quarterback. Because look at Carolina. They got rid of DJ Moore. Now they're scrambling to find a wide receiver number 1. So it would be dumb to get rid of JJ. And yeah, I know we'll get picks for him, but we will never get the amount of picks that would make up for getting rid of JJ.
Oh yeah, you got to keep JJ. If you're going to pay TJ Droppinson, you got to be able to pay. I shouldn't call him that because he hasn't been that. TJ Hawkinson has been really good for you guys from a receiving standpoint.
My problem with Kirk is that he isn't a leader. Like all these guys are dropping passes, fumbling, and he doesn't get in their face, hold them accountable or anything. And so this shit keeps continuing week after week after week. Do you think Brady or Manning would allow that to happen for 5 weeks in a row? No, they would be confronting that player like, hey, if you drop another pass, if you fumble another ball, you're not getting the ball. But nope. After a drop pass or whatever, Kirk just goes to his iPad and whatever. He doesn't say anything to these players. There's no leaders on the team, so there's no.
But why would he though, Sarah? I mean, Kirk offered to take a pay cut to take an extension. Why would he want to be, put his balls on the line for the team when it's when they don't back him up?
But we don't want him here anymore. So
and that's obvious, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
If you're Kirk Cousins, what's the motivation to lead?
Problem, but he's not the solution. And
he didn't drop the ball. Isn't that on the player that dropped the ball that we should be putting the blame on? Kirk's been pretty damn good.
Yeah, but Kirk keeps throwing him the ball, even though he's had drop passes week after week after week. Come on,
Well, what do you think? I'm gonna welcome A-Dub to the program too. And I'm sure we'll be talking about these Packers here in a second. I wanted to let Jeremy have his piece right here on your thoughts on this Detroit Lions win, and I'm going to give you the floor because I know that you got something on your mind.
Yeah, think about this. The last time the Lions scored 30-plus points in 4 consecutive games, it was 1954. The last time they held teams in after 5 games to 342 rushing yards was 1939.
So what you're telling me is this is not the same old Lions?
No, not the Lions that we see growing up. We haven't seen this type of play from our Lions. It wasn't even this good through 5 games with the vaunted 2014 defense.
Right.
And
They
A-Dub
haven't been
knows. They've never been this good rushing rushing defensive wise out of the gate. We were 30th last year. We gave up 142 yards per game on the ground.
right. Right. Yeah, it's we were in the Lions den yesterday and we were watching this game and we're just like we're just not used to it. I mean we were even singing the song like it almost seemed like half-hearted. We were like, "Oh my God, another touchdown forward down the field." Oh God, running out of breath. But like just having a team that is good at stopping the run with all of the injuries. I mean, Jared Goff hit 5 receivers for
7.
more than well, I'm talking. Oh yeah, 7 if you count the Jamison Williams and the 2 catches for 2 yards and 7 receivers for more than a catch. That's Jared Goff playing at a high level with like receivers that you guys probably don't even really know that much about. Maybe the real good fans. Well, I'm just saying, like people outside of Detroit, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, these aren't like household names. We know them. We know what they can do, but people outside, Khalif, who? That's what you're going to get from the other fan bases.
And Josh Reynolds stepped up and filled the Amon role yesterday just fine. Everybody was dogging us because, oh man, you guys got St. Brown out. Gibbs isn't going to play. What are you guys going to do? What'd we do? The same thing we've done every week so far, other than one win.
Yeah. Todd says wins are a team stat. That's dumb. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the middle of conversations right here. I'll leave that alone.
It's from an older conversation there.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I got to get ahead of these the stream.
Oh wait, John, he was targeted 3 times and caught 2 of them and dropped 1. And even the announcer said if he'd have caught that one, he might have been out for the season with the way that linebacker was lined up because Marvin Jones Jr. missed the frickin' block.
Yeah, so Jamison Williams had 3 targets, 2 catches, 1 drop. He was a demon in the block game. He actually sprung that first touchdown that
if he didn't lay out that linebacker, David Montgomery was hit 3 yards past the line of scrimmage.
But and where John is going with this is, we did trade up from 32 to 12. You don't want to do that to get a blocking wide receiver. But they're not using him because they don't have to use him. I mean, he was only out there 25 snaps or getting his feet wet and everything like that. And when you have a deep roster, you don't have to throw your guys out there like that.
And
it is what.
Kudos to Aiden Hutchinson for having the most interceptions for a defensive end in the first 2 years of his career.
Right on, man. That's beastly right there. But I want to get A-Dub into this conversation. Yep. A-Dub, you got a big game tonight, man. You got a big game. What do you think? Packers, Raiders, Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been saying enough myself to think like this game definitely has to be a bounce back game for Green Bay. Like if we're gonna get our run defense and our run game on point, this is the game where we would have to do it, especially given how I said before the Raiders, they're not that different from us in terms of struggling against the run this year. And Josh Jacobs for a dynamic back, I recall he's only averaged less than 3 yards a carry this year. And I'm thinking, is that because of him falling off or because his O-line is no different from ours to struggle when it comes to run blocking?
Right. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is a big game for the success of the Green Bay Packers season this year. Like, I know that you guys, I mean, for future wise, I mean, I really like your guys' situation, having a couple extra picks. You already got a good portion of your roster filled out with decent quality players, young team.
Yeah.
So, being 40 million behind the cap with the Aaron Rodgers trade, you guys going into next year look pretty good. But for the immediate right now, for this year, this is a huge game for the Green Bay Packers to be like, legitimate in the division race and everything like that. You can't lose to
And
the
and
Raiders.
of course, we're trying to make sure we have some bit of momentum on our side going into our bye week next week.
Right. So you could win this game, you could get right, and you be a 3-2, go into your bye, get some guys healthy, get some of them offensive linemen healthy, and then maybe take a shot. Who do you got coming out of the bye?
After the bye, our next game is against the Broncos.
There you go. I mean, you guys could seriously be sitting there at 4-2 or 3-3 at the worst. I would think that you're going to win one of those two games. I think the Broncos are going into sell mode too. I heard that rumor of the Lions going after Patrick Surtain. It seems like every time somebody goes into sell mode, everybody wants to be like,
and I think
people
need
to. Sorry, but also when you speak of sell mode, I even seen some crazy posts and rumors about the idea that Devontae Adams is going to want out of the Raiders, and we're one of those top trade destinations for him.
But you don't believe any of that BS, do you? You don't believe that, do you, Jeremy?
Nope. And number one, all anybody has to do is go right over to Over the Cap and see that the Lions only have $6.9 million in cap space. And that takes Evans, Adams, Surtain, any first-round pick, any big trade right out of there. We're going to end up picking up a draft piece. But Dorsey might be available after this week because he comes off of IR. We haven't seen Stephen Gilmore, who's on the active roster, play yet. And Jerry Jacobs is coming into the role because as soon as Emmanuel goes out, the very next play, he picks one off.
Don't the Bears still have a lot of cap space?
Not really. They got less than 17 million now.
They should be buyers if they want to build their team.
They should be buyers next season.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, to address what I said before in one of the comments, I mentioned before about Jimmy Garoppolo not being more than just a product of Kyle Shanahan's system. The reason I brought that up before is because what was a matter of most times that Green Bay matches up against the 49ers, my thing was who could worry us more off of that team? Is it Jimmy Garoppolo with his arm talent, or is it going to be what's built around him in terms of a elite defense and a potent run game? Because most times I watched the 49ers, I felt like that's what carried him the most when it came to his successful run at QB playing with San Fran. Now that he comes to the Raiders, he doesn't have that kind of aura around him anymore. Like the Raiders are not built the same way as San Fran. And that would be a problem for him. So that's why I said that.
A-Dub, I have a question for you. So how do you feel about Joe Barry? Would you be upset if he was let go next season?
If he doesn't rebuild our defense, no, I wouldn't be upset. Especially when there's always better candidates in the mix that you would want to go after. Yeah.
I don't know, because I just see your defense is having so much potential, but yet never meeting it,
Yeah, it's either going to be the personnel or not the right DC that's out there in terms of play calling. And my thing is like, Joe, we've already had that conversation between coaches saying, and Matt LaFleur has already been public saying, it is a shame that we do the same old thing and we're not getting the kind of results that we want. So he's well aware that some changes got to be made with that defense. Either he's going to have to take it over or Joe Barry's going to have to fix it right now for us to be better. It's either that or he's going to be gone. And I wouldn't
I
be
told-
upset about it.
How many times have I told you, A-Dub, the Packers needed to dump Joe Barry in the offseason last year?
Well, let's
Hey,
see what
I
they
was-
do right
hey,
here,
I'm-
right now.
I'm gonna be honest. I was not that high on us hiring him in the first place.
Well, Joe Barry, he's definitely a good scapegoat for you guys at this point in the season right here. And I got Steve is real. Yeah, right here. I want to welcome to the program. I want to get his thoughts on this.
What's the topic?
With Joe Barry, what do you think about Joe Barry? You think they should like get rid of him right now? Are you in panic mode here?
No. I'm, to be honest, or let me say this. I will be real. I'm kind of like in a way in a mode with Sarah about my team. We ain't gotten a Super Bowl team this year, and I knew it, and I knew this from the get-go. Okay, if we can just at least finish at 500 now with Joe Barry, I really want him gone. I don't trust him. I just don't trust him. I think. Go ahead.
You're out on Joe Barry. That's I was just going to agree with that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just not really sold on him. You know, I mean, if he proves me wrong, I'm a man to admit when I'm wrong. I'm not afraid of that. But I think when I saw after you guys stomped the mud hole in our ass last week, okay, after that game, you guys stomped a mud hole. I mean, Russell, you was like Stone Cold Steve Austin, just having us in a corner, just putting the boots to us right in the chest. Like, yeah, whatever. And you flipped us off. You know, you flipped us off and everything. Yeah, boom. I mean, you just mollywop, you know, whatever. Then when I saw LaFleur, I mean, he was mad. I was glad to see that because that's where a head coach should be. Like, I'm a Notre Dame fan. And I'm used to that with Lou Holtz going out there, grabbing a player by a face mask, dragging his ass off, and come here. That's what I want to see.
You like that?
Yeah. If I was a head coach,
you want your head coach losing his cool in a press conference and going off on guys asking him questions. That's what you want.
Well, it just shows that he cares. It shows
It shows that he's losing his cool and that he's losing the team.
Well, no, I don't think it that way. I see that he sees that, like he said, there's got to be changes.
You know, Dan Campbell was 1-6 last year, and when he went to the press conference table on that after 1-6, he was a lot like he was after this mollywhopping win that they just had this weekend, where he's been the same even keel the entire time. I would much rather have an even keel guy than a guy that's going to flip out and try to find out, you know, whose fault it is. And you're going to go off on a reporter for asking you a question, for doing his job. If I was that reporter, I'd be like, Matt LaFleur, you're a douchebag. Like, I'm doing my job and you're giving me a hard time.
Well,
that's what I would be like.
I understand, but see, I would be the type of coach just as well that, you know, I want accountability. If my players, whatever, like, you know, like I see some with these coaches, they tell their players, if you don't want to be here, go home to your mommies right now. Go home to your mommies right now. If you're not going to stand here and be in the dogfight, whatever. Okay. That's just the way he might have.
And that's fine. I mean, and that's good when you're in the confines of your locker room and it's just your men in front of your men, then belittle somebody right there, but don't belittle somebody. Don't go in front of Twitter.
Well, I understand.
That's worse than Twitter. But you're the head coach, Matt LaFleur. You got to be cooler than that.
Well, like it says, I'm sure you can agree, Russell. Like I've heard you say over the times, you know, like Jeremy, I think he said it, A-Dub, maybe even Sarah. This Packers defense got so much talent on it. There is so much talent on this Packers defense. And you guys, like I said, you guys just stomped. Like I said, it was like Steve Austin versus whoever. I mean, Kurt, I mean, Russell, also you, Jeremy, you know, you guys were like, you know, the four horsemen, you know, taking this, just mollywhopping, you just stomp, just beating the living dog hell out of us. I was sitting there like, wow, look at this.
He can keep saying that all day.
I'm not afraid to say it. See, that's like I said in my name, Steve is real. I be real with stuff. I'm not afraid to say stuff like that. Okay.
Stone Cold Steve is real Austin right
Right.
there.
You've had enough
Damn
of that
right.
shit.
That's right.
All right, I got John Kapler that's sitting in the back. He's been waiting patiently. I know that he wants to chime in on this big win by the Detroit Lions. Welcome to the program, John Kapler.
How you like them Lions, Cowboys fans, and the rest of the NFL? How you like them Lions? Woo! Doing my best Jimmy Johnson imitation there.
So 42-24, Lions beat the shit out of the Carolina Panthers, get their revenge. What's your thoughts on that, John Kapler?
I mean, it's what we should have done. They're an 0-4 team. I said all throughout the week.
Yep.
Don't underestimate them. Don't say it's going to be a guarantee, but go and do what you need to do. And this is what you should be doing. The teams that just aren't together, and the Carolina Panthers are just not together. They are in a rebuild. This is what we should be doing.
Yeah, here's John Dorn right here saying Dan Campbell cries when he loses. Yes, that's something I don't
he's an emotional guy. He wants to win, of course.
And because he cares about his players.
Damn right.
Whereas when
it hurts him when his players are hurt.
When a coach calls out players and gets mad like that and calls out the press, it actually looks a little more negative to me.
Yeah, I think so too. That's the point I wanted to bring up to Steve in there. And it's like, I'm not trying to rip on the guy, but that's what I would be looking for. And Dan Campbell does cry, but he's usually pretty even keel. I mean, he did cry after they went 1-6 right there. And you are right about that, John Dorn. That was when he did cry on that. But he usually is even keel. That was the point that I was trying to make in that, is like, it's always just, more accountability. We're going to go out there. We're going to work on it. We're going to do these things. We understand that we lost, and the press's job is to ask those inside questions that kind of rub you the wrong way. It's Matt LaFleur's job to handle that, like the pressure of that, because they all do the press conferences. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I got to get out of here. It's time to go celebrate my birthday with my sister.
Right on. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
53 years young.
There you go. I'll put you out front.
Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate what y'all do. Watching the show with Russell and this main event 365. Make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed and you're commenting there, subscribe. It helps all of us as podcasters. We grow. Go check out my podcast. I'm doing my post game show tonight at 10 p.m. on Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions.
Awesome. That is Jeremy B. Yes. And yeah, we have a network right here. Lots of great podcasters, lots of good people. John Kapler, I know that you run your own podcast. That's what we like to be here at the main event, as a stage for anybody to have it. Anybody through the NFC North. We got Bill the Packer fan. I might as well go through and give everybody their props right here. Bill the Packer fan. If you guys are Packer fans out there, I mean, we're all NFC North. So I don't want you following my page. I want you to follow Bill the Packer fans page. Our page, if you're a Lions fan, is the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. If you hit the follow button and then you hit the like button on the videos, you're helping out. We don't ask for anything other than that. If you like this programming, then, we want to have you as a follower. If you're a Bear fan, go over and give Mike the Bear fan a follow right there. Like I said, don't come follow the Detroit Lions Villain Squad if you're a Bear fan, right? And this is NFC North Talk with your host, Russell Wayne, each and every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We talk football, man. That's what we love doing here. 365 days a year, we have some form of football content going through all of the pages and all of the YouTubes that we represent. So we have fun doing this. We have fun. But you have something to say? Hey, Dub, I see you got your hand up. Want to bring us back in here?
Nah, it ain't too much to think about. Just looking forward to this Monday night as far as the matchup goes. I mean,
I think you guys win.
So
And
yeah,
there
how
you go. I
about you
think the
guys
Packers
out there in Facebook land, in YouTube land? We got the Raiders going up against the Packers tonight, Monday Night Football. Who do you got on this? Put that into the comments. Put it in writing. That's what I like to say. If you don't put it in writing, then, I mean, you're just saying it, And if you're not going to gamble on it, at least put it in writing so that way you can refer back to it and say, hey, I said that the Green Bay Packers should win this game by double digits. You need to win this game. But if you don't win, then you guys can be in that rebuild type of thing too. I feel where Steve is coming from on that. But
we're the
to be
youngest
honest,
team in the league. I mean, I'm not making no
to
excuses.
be honest, you could say it's somewhat of a rebuild right now, especially given how young we are.
And Russell, I listen to what you said. Like after this year, when that $40 million cap hit from Rodgers is gone, and next year we have that extra money to deal with is going to be nice. So this year, I'm not stupid. I know we don't have the team to beat the Niners. I mean, they would like.
But you're young.
Yeah.
So when it comes with something I was telling Lion fans last year, because I had the Lions at 7 wins last year and they overachieved for me. Now, but I did say something at the beginning of the year where it was like, we have a lot of these young players and anything that we're going to do, we're going to progress, because we got all these young players.
That's all young teams.
And it's house money. That was one of the terms that I was referring to. And it's the same thing with the Packers this year. You guys have the youngest roster in the NFL. And who cares? I mean, if you guys end up winning 8-9 games or sneak in the back of the playoffs, you guys are going to be like, well, hell yeah. Well, next year, I got a 1 and 2 twos and an ascending team. Like,
and
here's another great for the North
we
to
just
watch
got
Green
something
Bay
to build
come
off
back.
of. That's what we would say.
That's right. And you have something to build off regardless. Even if you guys only win 6 games this year, it's going to be a better draft pick. And you're still going to have that 40 million, because that's kind of where the Lions hit last year. That we ended up going 9-8, but we had the 2 first-round picks. We knew that. We knew that we had a bag of money that we were going to be able to spend, the biggest bag that Holmes had. And you knew that the future looks good. And actually, I think that the Lions, like from 24, 25, 26, those are actually going to be better teams, because these second and third year players are going to be third and fourth year players. They're going to start coming in their own. We have enough money to, pay these rosters coming up next year. Like next year, we rolled over some of our money. So that's one of the reasons we only have $7 million, but we're gonna have like $78 million to spend next year. As Lions fans, you guys are gonna have an extra $40 million to spend next year, so that's pretty good.
And Russell, you made a comment earlier, like you told somebody, you were smart because you said this is a 17-week season,
right?
And with that, like I said, every team, every fan, and every team, one thing we all have to worry about is a key guy. Like, for instance, not hoping it would happen. What if Golf would get hurt?
Well, we got Bridgewater.
Okay, but to me, Bridgewater ain't no Jared Goff.
Oh, no shit.
No.
He's a backup quarterback, but
Right.
Bridgewater can win 3 or 4 games for you,
Right.
while Jared Goff is,
And
He's
if
there to win everything. He's there to win, 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3.
and if Hutchinson would get hurt, or something like that,
we have depth in that position too. Hutchinson went out for a couple plays last night, and it's like and I believe they got a sack on the play that Hutchinson went out.
Hutchinson is like another Boza to me.
Sure, I mean, it's great having awesome players, but we were down our starting safety, Brian Branch. We've been without Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. We were without Amon-Ra St. Brown. The thing is good teams win anyway.
Now, I didn't really get to see it. Did Jameson look good?
Jameson looked good blocking. He caught 2 balls for they had him contained out there. He did drop 1 ball.
Okay. I didn't get to see it.
Smacked with that one from what we've all heard.
What's
I
wrong
mean,
with
he's
Amon?
underwhelming. I mean, I'll give John Dorn that. I mean, for the 12th overall pick, you traded up, you traded draft capital to get up and get him. You don't want a blocking wide receiver. I want to see more out of him, but they didn't need more out of him. They had 7 receivers that caught multiple balls from Jared Goff yesterday, and Jared Goff I'll turn John Kapler into a hero. He's going to have 3 catches for 30 yards out in that offense.
Yeah,
No more
like you
stats.
said,
John
and
Kapler
like
shows
you
up in the
said,
stats.
like you said, it is a good thing when some of those high draft picks you pick up for your team is usually a good thing when you don't really need them that much, that they can just
Right.
just warm themselves up to the offense while everybody else is already performing for you.
Yeah, it's like our second round draft picks are the ones that are contributing in the first round draft. Like Jack
Finally.
Campbell got in a lot more yesterday. I'm curious. I can't wait to see the PFF stats on what Jack Campbell did. But I think that he's been slowly progressing and getting more snaps every single week. But, that's the 18th overall pick. Jahmyr Gibbs. I swear that he was injured, but it was more of a tweaking thing, and they were just like, well, screw it. We got Craig, we got David Monty. Why don't you just take the week off this week? Because it is a 17-week season.
Mhm.
So I think that you can get these quote unquote injury rest days for some of these players if you know your team is deep.
I have a question for you,
Right.
Packers. So if you guys go like 6-10, are you guys drafting a quarterback or someone on the offensive line, or what do you think you guys are doing?
Well, that would depend. Like if we lose games that are close, like if Love showed promise, even if we don't win, I don't see that. Okay, but if they get blown out and bombarded and whatever, then there's that. Like I said, I'm still seeing promise in Clifford. When I watch Clifford play, I know it was against second or third string. I see another Brett Favre when I saw Sean Clifford play. That he's a gunslinger. But now, Sarah, I heard you. I know over the weeks and months, if the Vikings go after a quarterback, like I was talking with Woody a few days ago with Russell, my number one quarterback to get is J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, and next is Bo Nix. This Caleb Williams, I do not believe in him. I do not. I would not want him. No.
I have no idea. I mean, did he look at you wrong or something? Because it certainly can't be because of his play.
Well, no. Well, the thing is,
I mean, he's
Russell,
almost throwing 80% completion percentage.
Well,
The guy is
I'm about to say, is it even going to come down to the narrative about USC quarterbacks not panning out accordingly too?
Yeah,
to
I know that was the
point,
narrative
I
before.
like that.
I know that was the
to a
narrative
point.
before when we talk about Ohio State QBs.
Yeah, because I see another Mark Sanchez when I see Caleb Williams.
My problem with Bo Nix is that he left the SEC, which is a very tough competitive conference,
Right.
to go play for the Pac-12. And so that kind of makes me feel like, oh, okay, well, he wasn't confident enough to play in the SEC, so it doesn't give me confidence in him.
And you brought up what's his name's son, Sanders.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
But let's be honest here. Let's really look at this. Like Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. So I don't think anybody was talking about how great Brock Purdy was going to be last year. And he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Well,
right
but
now.
Is he a product of the San Francisco
But you surrounded him with a full team, though.
Does that matter?
Well, let's be honest about something. Usually those QBs you don't expect a lot from can surprise you at times.
Right. Oh, yeah. My buddy here, who's a 49er, his name's John. Okay. I told him when that happened with that Mr. Irrelevant pick, I said, John, just let me tell you something right now, Brock Purdy. I'm just telling you right now, this guy's going to do something. There's something about him that he's going to do. Like the year when Ben got drafted, that whole Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers.
Or Steve, I gotta stop you right there, dude. Have you guys seen the movie or the show Poker Face? Anybody seen it? I got to call bullshit on that, Steve.
What?
You have no proof that you said that, and I'm not going to allow you to come on my show and lie and say that you knew.
You can ask
you
him.
knew Mr. Irrelevant. I can ask Joe, your buddy, that you called Mr. Irrelevant as a quarterback.
Let me explain something though. I didn't say he was going to do what he's doing.
You've had enough of that shit.
I just told John. I said, John, because John was so worried about Garoppolo getting hurt. He was, whatever. I said, look, don't down Purdy just yet.
All right, Steve. I'll leave that up to I won't say anything. I'll leave that up to the people. How many people that are out there out of the 1,500 people that are watching this program right now believe that Steve called out Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant as being a stud? Anybody?
I think he should
Anybody?
have been the
I
first
did.
pick, not the worst pick.
Vouch for Steve.
I didn't say anything like that. I just said, don't be down on him.
You were telling your buddy that Brock
Right.
Purdy was going to be the man.
Right, because I just told him that because he was so worried about Jimmy Garoppolo. And whatever.
Man, I know they have Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo, but this Brock Purdy, there's just something about Steve was calling it out, dude. He had it all written down. His stat sheets were there.
But my question is, would Brock Purdy be who he is if he was in Chicago? So I think it's more of a product of his system that he's in.
Probably not.
I would say around that.
And like
Probably
Russell
100%.
said, and I think Russell said weeks ago, would Mahomes be the same if he was in Chicago?
Yup.
I don't know. Mahomes.
Or what about
Jalen Carter be the same if he was drafted to Detroit and he didn't go to the Eagles where his buddies play? Ooh.
Rob's on your side, Steve. I believe because Steve is real, baby. Oh God, I love having fun with you guys, man.
Let's not. But yeah, you talk about Mahomes. I'm about to say, don't forget they also had a chance at Deshaun Watson too.
Oh man, they're not going to hear the end of it. I mean, I don't know. You saying Brock Purdy could have been the first good Chicago Bears quarterback ever?
That's something we'll never know.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know. Hey, we got the NFC North open mic that's happening tonight at 7 p.m. We want to get a little trash talk in tonight. I'm going to close the show out right here, man. It's 12:30. I got to get this kid off the bus, man. I do enjoy talking football with you guys each and every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can go to John Kapler, Detroit Sports News, right? Go ahead and plug yourself, John, so I don't mess up your call sign here.
You're good, man. You can call whatever you want. Just YouTube name John Kapler. Talking all and anything Lions. Random videos. I'm more so in the comments. Trying hyping other people up, but love my Lions. Down to talk any day, whether it's current, whether it's past. Whether it's draft picks, whether it's possible scenarios, anything to do with the Lions, you come up with an idea and I will talk it for you. Come to my page, show some love. Let's talk Lions ball.
Let's talk some Lions ball. And if you want to talk NFC North talk, that's what we're doing here each and every day. And we love this, guys. We love this. We love it as a Lions win. Last chance, get those comments in there right there. We got the Raiders playing the Green Bay Packers tonight. Get your scores into the comments. And for everybody that's out there, listen, thank you so much for following us on Detroit Lions Villain Squad, our YouTube page, the Main Event 365. And if you're still listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth right now, may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again tonight for NFC North Talk, NFC North Open Mic.
Amen.
God bless you. I'll see ya. Peace. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for watching NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. As always, I'm going to throw the YouTube. This was the YouTube stream. It's going into the comments. Please take the time to go over to that YouTube stream. Hit the like button on the video. That would be awesome if you could do that. Doesn't cost anything. You can hit the like button. Lions win. This is like the after hours. It's like the lounge talk. I like the music in the background. I could bring John Kapler back in. We're just talking. We're in the back right there. I want to read my so if you follow the page, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you all supporting couple knuckleheads with podcasts, couple nobodies. We love football. We love family. We love to talk about it. Thank you for following us. Detroit Lions Villain Squad. Subscribing to the YouTube. Just want to let everybody know that we're not affiliated with the Lions. We aren't backed by some super corporation that pays us the big dollars to be talking heads up here. We do this because we love it. We love football. We love how we use football to bring our families together on Sundays. We love singing Forward Down the Field. After every single TD, we sing Forward Down the Field, and we don't apologize for it. Hey, Mike Valeni, stop trying to take tradition away. Stop cancel culture. I'm calling you out, man. I like your program, but I hate that take. Stop canceling stuff. We do this because we're passionate about the Detroit Lions, because we want to be the ones that say that we were there during the rise to relevancy. Is this it? Are we here, folks? Is it happening? I think it is. I mean, you're going to have to prove otherwise first. Because it's not paper anymore. We're not on paper anymore. This is reality. Oh, you guys are good on paper. No, it's real. You don't beat 3 teams in a row in the NFL by double digits and not be good. This is the NFL. I don't care what the teams are that you play. As far as I know, the Packers are pretty good. I think Atlanta's pretty good. These aren't pushover teams. I think these teams are in the middle of the NFL in the rankings, 10 to 15, somewhere in there, those 2 teams. You beat 2 good teams. Beat the shit out of 2 good teams. That is what it is. You know what I'm saying. Tonight, don't forget, come on up. Bring your trash talk, especially Lions fans. You guys beat your chest a little bit. It's okay. And as like any good Marvel movie, I like to have the ending after the ending. Lions win 42-24. Vikings lose 27-20. Raiders, Packers tonight, Monday Night Football. And I'll leave you with this little nugget right here that you love so much.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.